Welcome. This is Monty once again from DPL Surveillance Equipment. Um, there's a few things going on with Bitcoin, and just so you know, I'm outside walking my cat, Lazy Bones. We're getting a little bit of sunshine and fresh air. Had a very rigorous 4 to 5 hours workout at the gym yesterday, and today I don't do much. Or Thursdays I don't do much at all. We just hang out. Excuse the noise. So got a plane going above. We have a small airport near where we live in Camarillo. So occasionally we get these small craft flying back and forth, which is fine. Could be worse. They're just private, the smaller aircraft. But anyway, as I was saying, me and my cat, Lazy Bones, we like to relax on Thursdays, take a walk and get some fresh air and some sunshine on us. Now today we want to talk about Bitcoin and 4 things that I like about the current state of Bitcoin. Things I think that you want to consider that are very fundamental and very positive, at least for as I can tell, that should help establish a foundation for future growth and also a base for why Bitcoin is the preferred coin of choice as compared to altcoins and some of the other coins out there. And before I get into the specifics, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Monty Henry, owner of DPL Surveillance Equipment. We're a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all of the products. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. We have the largest inventory of items, and not only can you buy, but you can rent and lay away as well. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. So let me turn my phone off so I'm not interrupted. Lifetime guarantees. 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. A very large articles directory, podcast directory, demonstration video directory, blog directory, all sorts of information or educational resources. We've established our shopping cart integration for Bitcoin, and that includes Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bcash. At least those 4, which are the top 4. So feel free to spin your Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bcash with us. We'd appreciate it very much if you can. And also, we what else are we doing? Oh yeah, we just added a bunch of new products. We add on new products all the time, but we add in new products all the time. We have a separate product category now. Hidden cameras for automobiles. It's all sorts of hidden cameras and solutions for automobiles. If you want to, it's not only hidden cameras, but you're going to find trackers there. You're going to find modified radar detectors that are actually, hidden cameras, listening devices, cigarette lighter adapters that have been modified for surveillance, voice recorders, all sorts of things that are specially designed for automobiles. So for those of you who couldn't find a lot of solutions to help track and listen in and see or record what's happening inside vehicles and outside vehicles and all that, now you're going to see a whole category, at least on our website, exclusively dedicated to automobiles. Okay? And just a whole lot going on. Go there and explore yourself. I like a situation where people are basically discovering hidden treasures, so to speak, when they go and take a look at things on our website. And then also while you're there, take a look around and let us know if there's anything there that you want to see improved or whatever, and that way we'll be glad to add any additional items that you want to see there. Okay? And just let us know about the overall experience that you're going to see on the website. So in addition to all of that, oh yeah, I think the integration of Bitcoin and the cryptos is another success as far as our getting away from having to rely upon MasterCard and Visa, American Express, and all of the credit card companies. So this should really help us, again, get away from the idea that we have to rely upon the financial intermediaries, the MasterCards and the Visas and the American Expresses, the processors and the banks. We don't want them in our business. We don't want them allowing for frivolous chargebacks and disputes and restrictions and all of that. So I think this is really taking us forward in terms of getting away from traditional vampire, blood-sucking, rent-seeking attempts as far as keeping us business owners down and keeping consumers down as well. When you have the financial industry, just so you guys will know, when you have the typical traditional financial industry extract roughly $70 billion a year annually from merchants or retailers, and even consumers are hurt because when we have to pay, as an industry, if we have to pay $70 billion to credit card companies and banks and processors every year, that money has to come from somewhere. Our overhead goes up. Your costs, ultimately what you pay, goes up. In addition to that, returns, merchandise returns, frivolous returns, stolen credit cards, stolen identities, all of these things add into the overhead. And see, with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because we're not requiring that you give us all of that information to do a transaction. Bitcoin typically doesn't ask for name and address and phone number and all of that, social security number and all that, in terms of me sending you money or you sending me money, okay? Because we're sending to a physical address when you buy a product, that's where we require a physical address. But that doesn't have to be where you live. That can be a P.O. box or a FedEx station or UPS center or something like that. So it's a totally different environment, totally different world when you're dealing with cryptos. And that means hackers have less to hack into. When you don't have a honeypot of 30 million records or a billion records like what happened with Yahoo and LinkedIn and IRS and you name it, every single entity pretty much has been hacked by now. J.P. Morgan, everybody has got hacked into one time or another. So we need to get away from that centralized honeypot type of system and use a system whereby we can just send the money back and forth with minimal information in relation to you, okay? And besides, when we get privacy coins, I think that's where we're really going to see major disruption as far as me having to know who you are, you having to know who I am. I'll just send you my money, you'll send me your money, or you'll send relatives money, co-workers, employees, relatives money back and forth from across the state, across the country, across the world without worrying about all that. So anyway, haven't gotten on my soapbox or bandwagon about that. Let's move on. Today we're going to be talking about 4 pillars. And I'm not a developer, I'm not a quote-unquote expert in all of these areas, but I know just enough to know that they're important. And I'll add some additional information when I can about each of these 4 pillars that seem to be growing and seem to be very indicative of a Bitcoin that's establishing a firm foundation again, so that it's going to be here and it's going to be around for not only 10 years like it has been already, but going forward, hopefully another 10, 20, 30, 40 years or whatever, and maybe even an actual reserve currency for the United States and for the world. Okay, the first pillar, the first thing I think is important, let's take a look at something called the hash rate. The hash rate has been going up, and the hash rate simply means that miners, without being too technical, just basically mean miners are dedicating more and more machines to processing Bitcoin transactions. When you have more and more miners leave Bitcoin Cash, leave whatever they're doing, and just basically expand the amount of processing power dedicated to processing Bitcoin transactions, that's a positive sign. That means that they're gaining confidence. They want to protect their existing investments in Bitcoin mining, and they want to expand those opportunities. And when you have any miners that leave the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem, for instance, and dedicate their machines to processing Bitcoin transactions, that's a positive. Okay, that means we're making progress. We're winning more people. We're winning new people, and the companies that are expanding their existing mining, adding more machines. That's a positive sign. That means the confidence is growing, and the future looks even more brighter than before for Bitcoin. And another thing is going to be the short sellers. The short seller interest in Bitcoin seems to be declining as of now. Now, this could change at a moment's notice, but we're noticing that the short sellers on Wall Street, they were betting more and more that Bitcoin would decline, and a number of short sellers made a little bit of money as Bitcoin declined, particularly when it declined from, say, all the way from 20,000 all the way down to roughly where it is now. But I think what we're seeing is that a lot of that short interest is actually declining, and we don't have to worry so much about all of that short interest causing the price to decline. And so, yeah, less and less people are interested in shorting Bitcoin, which is, again, another indicator that the future looks brighter right now at this point because, again, lack of short interest. So that's what we want. We want more bullish bets on Bitcoin as compared to bearish bets. And right now we're getting more bearish bets as compared to the bullish bets. Less bearish bets as compared to bullish bets on Bitcoin, which is good because short sellers, they drive the price down. Bullish bets, people like me and you, for instance, we're betting on a growing Bitcoin future, which is indicating that we're convinced that there's going to be more opportunity, more development, more a growing and expanding ecosystem. Okay, that's what we're betting on. So that's another indicator. Anyway, the lack of short selling on Wall Street. And then we also have, what else? Oh, yeah, market dominance. The market dominance of Bitcoin. When you go to coinmarketcap.com, for instance, and you see that Bitcoin's dominance, in other words, how dominant is Bitcoin as compared to the other altcoins. Right now, the other altcoins seem to be declining as far as their own dominance is concerned, while at the same time, the Bitcoin dominance is going up substantially. It was roughly 49-50%. I have to take a look at in terms of what it is now, but that's something you guys also want to keep in mind going forward, okay? That as more people put more money into Bitcoin, and as more companies start using it, then and using Bitcoin as compared to the altcoins, that increases the market dominance. So that's just one metric that we want to keep an eye on as well. So we have lack of short interest, we have increasing market dominance, we have a hash rate that's constantly improving. At the same time, And then the fourth one, what is the fourth one? Let's see, the fourth one. Let's see. So we have the. I should have wrote this down. It was kind of stuck in my mind, of course, until I did the podcast. But we have market dominance. We have lack of short interest. We have an increasing hash rate, and we have. Let's see. Well, until that one comes to mind, let me just make sure you guys understand that the good, some further good news also is going to be that we're seeing more and more mainstream outfits take a look at opening up Bitcoin to the more of the mass markets. Okay, like the for instance, Coinbase Commerce has finally come out with a shopping cart integration, so that for those of you who have Shopify e-commerce platforms for your businesses, your merchants out there, now you can use your Shopify to allow your customers to purchase Bitcoin. And then you can also use WooCommerce, and you can use a few others, but that's a major plus, mainly because we want customers to have that choice for checkout, for alternative payment, using the Coinbase Commerce. Very simple and easy to integrate into your shopping carts. Very simple plug-in. What they call drag and drop, almost drag and drop type of plug-in that's going to allow for that shopping cart integration. So anyway, a lot of very positive things going on with Bitcoin, and so yeah, keep in mind that the short interest is a big deal, a lack of short interest, and at the same time the market dominance is a major plus going forward. Oh yeah, the lack of volatility. That's the fourth pillar that I almost forgot. But the lack of volatility has been a main has been something that people have been complaining about volatility. So when you have a lack of volatility, that's usually good, not for traders, but for people like merchants and customers. When you go to buy something on the internet, you don't want significant volatility from the time you make your purchase, from the time it actually executes or something. You don't want your Bitcoin to be changing too much in price. So that's something that seems to be moderating more and more. So we're seeing Bitcoin basically stay within a very tight trading range, somewhere between, I would say, 68,000, 69, 70, 7,000 on average. And I think that very tight trading range seems to indicate that we're not getting that significant volatility that we've been experiencing before. Again, these metrics and these indicators and pillars can change, quickly, but they seem to be moderating, or seem to be positive right now. And going forward, as long as we see these four pillars, in addition to any more that we get, then we'll know we have a stable, reliable Bitcoin that's laying a foundation for future growth. Okay. And again, that volatility is the final of the four pillars. And it simply means that, again, you can purchase something, you can sell goods and services on your website without worrying too much about that price fluctuating too much. Okay, and then also for investing, there's nothing like having an investment that doesn't um, fluctuate too wildly. People typically, when you invest in something, you like consistent, predictable returns that aren't all over the map unless it's going up. Even when it's going up, you don't want dramatic increases to the point where it's unsustainable. So as long as we can continue to appreciate, as far as the price is concerned, if the price can appreciate on a sustainable basis, where it's reliable and not get too far ahead of itself, then that's a positive sign. So anyway, these are the four indicators or four pillars that I think are underneath Bitcoin, and it seems to indicate that maybe going forward we can actually have a Bitcoin that Wall Street and Main Street and maybe regulators can use and embrace, so that it's the currency of choice. Ultimately, we want to have the currency of choice. We want to have, hopefully, over the long term, Bitcoin serving as a reserve currency, which means that everyone can benefit from it. Right now, the main beneficiaries or users are probably going to be people who are in countries like Venezuela or even Argentina, Zimbabwe, Cyprus, Greece, Italy, where the fiat-based currencies are falling apart. And let this be a lesson to you guys. When you see implosions like what's happening in Argentina, Venezuela, Cyprus, Greece, those various countries, when you see that type of scenario where the fiat currencies are appreciating, or inflating to the point where you have to literally run to the gas station, run to the petrol, run to the grocery store, run to get rid of that fiat before it inflates to zero. I think right now the inflation rate for the Argentina peso is probably 60%, and in Venezuela they got 1,000,000%. It was up to 1,000,000%, and people in Venezuela are basically running to Colombia for salvation. So as the immigrants and the populations run over to the neighboring countries to escape mismanagement of their own economies, and that's where we're headed to. That's what the world looks like when you mismanage your fiat. Basically, fiat currencies only have a lifespan of like 27 years, so that's what's going to happen. Slowly but surely, you're going to see more and more of that occurring. And even in the United States, we've been, unfortunately, in a situation where we have a significant loss of value, even associated with our own currency. But that loss of value has been papered over and covered up. But now it means that you got to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Every member of the family has to work their asses off, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and you barely have anything to show for it. So it's really the same. You might as well be in a third world country if you live in the United States, as far as the people who are working for a living. If you run a bank, or if you run a major outfit like Google or Apple or Facebook, then you borrow money from the Fed, or you get the benefits of quantitative easing, which is basically free money. Then it really doesn't matter, right, as much, because it's free money to you, and you can buy back stock, you can increase dividends, and do all the things that Wall Street has been doing to engineer their earnings and the financial status of those companies is basically engineered now. It's not so much about selling real products, real valuable services, but financial engineering, which is basically another scam. So anyway, as we embrace the future of hard money and the attributes of Bitcoin, then this is a positive for us. We have a choice. We have an alternative finally, and hopefully going forward, we'll be able to give the banks and give the financial institutions a real run for their money. Okay. So anyway, we're going to close out this session and just let you guys know. Pay attention to these new attributes that are increasing, that are positive. The hash rate going up, market dominance going up, short interest going down, and the last one that I mentioned, that fourth pillar, which was what I just mentioned. I just go back and listen to the podcast because I'm basically doing this on the fly or winging it. But they just want to let you know that the volatility is the fourth one. Volatility seems to be moderating. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to do this on the fly, let you guys know. Pay attention to those metrics and those pillars. Okay, you guys have a great day. And as I like to say at the conclusion of every podcast, keep your eyes and ears open, and we'll talk later. Thank you. Take care. Bye.